All right, everyone. So we're back again with our wavetable thingamajig, and it's in a good state. Especially after the last video, we added like the middle waveform, but I do have some additional ideas. Let's see how many of them we do in this video, and let's see how ChatGPT obviously cooperates. Just to quickly recap, we have our Wavetable Creator application. We created it with absolutely no coding, simply just over and over prompt engineering here with ChatGPT, purposely not touching any code. Even if we understood, like, let's say there is a bug, we don't fix it ourselves. We try to let ChatGPT fix it. It's part of the experiment. But also the second thing, it's not just an experiment. We're building a really good wavetable creator application. I'm going to be creating commercial wavetables out of this and offering them in wavetable packs. Just to mention, there is already a wavetable pack from Ocean Swift available. It's pretty amazing, huge pack. I will put the link in the video description and in the comments. All right, so let's get to it. So what I've been wanting to do now is take a look at the crossfade options here. So we have our two waveforms. Just again, I don't want to recap the whole thing. If you want more information, look at the previous videos. But we have our two waveforms here, and we're basically kind of manipulating them both. And then we have the option, well, we don't have to do them both because we have the option to use only the first waveform. Or if we want to use both, we crossfade. We have the option to crossfade between them, whereas the first wave would start at full volume and fade out until the end of the file, and the second wave would be fading in till the end of the file. And then we have the option for equal power mixing. Obviously, after this whole, the whole thing gets normalized in the end, and you get like this proper wavetable with normalized things. But I've been kind of thinking maybe we can get a little bit more creative here. And I prepared already this prompt, so you don't have to sit there and watch me write the whole thing. But here is the prompt that I want to throw at ChatGPT, and it, as we said, it has more crossfade options. The first one being fade in 2, which would, let's maybe make this a little bit bigger. So fade in 2, which would fade in, like it wouldn't touch the first one, but it would fade in the second one from the start of the file to the end of the file. And how about we do fade out 2 as well? Why don't I have fade out 2 without touching one? Fade out 2. And I think in this prompt, it's maybe obvious to us, you know what, but let's add it here. Wave 1 is simply mixed as is without fades. Maybe this is important. I'm not exactly sure, but with ChatGPT, it's maybe good to be a little bit more explicit than I was here. All right, so we have fade in 2, we have fade out 2, we have our mix from before, right? We were mixing the waveforms, so it was equal power mixing, and I thought, what if you want the first one to be kind of more dominant? So we have a 75 to 25 ratio, and we have a second one 65 to 35 ratio. And then we have simply a mix where the second waveform is inverted, and the same with one of the ratios. I don't know if we need them all here. And then we have fade in out 2, which would take the second waveform, fade it in until the middle of the file, and fade it out until the end of the file. Let's maybe add this additional line that I wrote here. Also in these fades, that wave number 1 should not be touched in this case. So it's actually in the last 3 cases. So let's add that here. Yeah, again, just in case, wave 1 is simply mixed. Wave 1 is simply mixed as is without fades. And then, yeah, so we have fade in out, which would do that. And then we have like a zigzag, which is kind of like fade in out, but like on 25% of the file each time. This one starts up, so think of it like a saw wave. So it will start at the bottom, go up and zigzag that way. And then this one would go down, so like an inverted saw, so like this. All right, so, and then just to make sure, maybe it's again obvious, I'm not sure, but to include all the new stuff in the preset system and make sure that all the interpolation normalizing is correct. Let's do that first, and then let's look at the batch, like random wavetable stuff that I mentioned in a second prompt. Let's make it back smaller for a second so I can kind of see. Yeah, I need to copy this whole thing. And let's try it. Let's see how ChatGPT cooperates. Like, is it having a good day or not? So let's add this whole thing. It might take it a minute to do it. Let's go for it. And we can see if it starts to respond. And maybe let's close our, yeah, so it's going to start working. Let's close the application that we have open right now so that we are prepared once we copy paste our new code in here. And you can see that it's already like, now it's taking it a while because it's really a really long file. I think from my experience creating code from scratch, like I'm not talking about editing some code or offering some function from a bigger project, but making a project from scratch, it used to be in the very early versions of earlier versions when I was kind of working with this, like the length of the code would have an effect. Like once it would get to something like 200 or 300 lines of code and you start to add things and ask it to fix things, it starts to crap out. Here I'm having a much better experience so far. Maybe it's also because of the canvas and new features, like it's getting really better at coding. And I'm also kind of getting a little better at prompting it and not basically fighting windmills. But let's see. Maybe it's just now all goes bork. We don't know. But it looks like it's doing it. Look. So maybe let's look at one of them. So one of the new ones, fade in 2. You can see that it has a fade in factor from 0 to 1. It's doing all the other stuff that it's supposed to do, removing DC. Yeah, it's looking good, guys. Fade out. So is fade in and fade out? I'm not so sure. It looks like it has the same code in here. So let's keep an eye out on the fade in 2 and fade out 2. Did I make a mistake in the prompt? Let's see. I did. Shit. So this should have been fade out, the second waveform. Okay, so he did that. He could have kind of, yeah, like, come on, mate. You see, this is stuff that AI, I think it could get better in this. So we made a mistake here. We basically copied the whole thing. We called it here correctly out, but here in the text we did in. Maybe it should have asked me like, hey, you have, like, what do you mean here? But anyways, it's funny that I noticed this like really randomly. Like sometimes you find bugs super randomly. Okay, so let's fix this. This new mode has a mistake. I meant it this way. I don't know, maybe that's the best way to write it. This mode fades out. Fade out and not in. I mean, the code correction should be pretty easy for it in this case, right? So it's kind of it's only going to need to change. Maybe let's look at it actually as it gets there. So it's only oops, where is it? Shit. Now I forgot which line it was. Okay, it'll get there eventually. There it is. So fade in 2 and fade out 2. So basically, I guess we should be seeing that. It's kind of funny. Look, he wrote here fade out factor. All right, I don't know. Let's see what it comes up with. So where are we? Kind of still working over at the top of the code. Yeah, see, this is interesting actually, how it handles this discrepancy in what we wrote it. It kind of got it, but it didn't understand that we made a mistake. All right, it's almost getting there. It did not really change anything. I don't know. Faded wave 1 plus 1 minus. There we go. Okay. Actually, I think it was okay. Okay, maybe it did. I don't know. It should have told us. Anyways, look, let's just see what we have right now. So it's getting near the end. I think it's actually okay. So let's paste that in now. Wow, 585 lines of GPT code. That works. That's cool. It's loading up. That's already a good sign. And if we go, yeah, that's pretty cool. We have our crossfade options. So how about we do some stuff to test it out, and then we can also check it in Contact, our results. So maybe let's try with the fade in too. So how about we do and I guess what's the best way to test it? Let's do the first one all on noise. Oops. So noise, 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 noise. Right, noise here as well. And then let's take the second one and put it all on, even a sign is okay, but maybe let's put it like on a square so it's like super noticeable. And what we should be seeing here is just like there would be noise in the beginning, and slowly as we progress in the file, we should be seeing it kind of turn into a square really slowly. So let's do test. Let's just call it test and 1. Create wavetable. All right, so we have the wavetable created and nothing crashed or anything, so that's another good sign. And if we now load it up, let's go into our wavetables folder and let's throw that in Contact. And let's see the morph. It's looking good. And remember, in this mode, we're not fading out the first one, we're just fading in the second one. So it's, yeah, I think it did it. It's going to sound weird. We can see how it sounds, what it sounds like. Maybe not that weird if you do it the opposite way, you know, like the fade out. So how about we do, and let's test it exactly the same way. So let's do fade out too, and we should be seeing the exact opposite behavior of fade in, of the fade in too. Okay, create wavetable. Let's see what we have. So we had that one, and this one we should be seeing, the first frame should actually look like this. Let's see. It will already tell us, yes, it's looking like it did it. And the last frame now if I throw in the first one, the last frame should look like, yes. So we have, this mode actually works. This is probably an interesting one because you could probably, like if you do it a little bit with the envelopes, or you could probably kind of do like some quick, I don't know, let's see. I mean, it's not really an interesting one, but let's see. I mean, with more modulation and stuff, obviously. But again, yeah, this was just like a test wavetable that we see that this mode works. Let's continue and look at our other modes. So we had the mix 50-50, and now we have the mix 75-25 and the mix 65-35. I'm thinking, what's a good way to test it? Let's try first. Let's stay with this noise in square. Let's do a mix, a normal one. So let's do test mix. And let's see what this one sounds like. Or look, well, let's do all three and compare. Actually, we can just quickly do it. So let's do mix, and then let's do mix 75-25. And then let's do mix 65-35. And let's throw these in. Let's look at these three together. So we have the normal mix. And actually the normal mix in this case, yeah, it's just noise and a square, and it's correct. We can see that it's exactly what we're seeing over here. It's not really changing, other than the noise being a little bit different for every cycle. This is actually a cool wavetable too. Really subtle. Now let's try the second one, and in the second one we should be seeing more of the noise because our first oscillator is on noise, right? And we should be seeing like 75% noise, whatever that means in practice. Once we, oops, where did I go? Once we look at the wavetable. So let's go to the first position here so that we see how different that is. Right, so we're seeing way more noise. And this one should be a bit more intermediate, like somewhere in between, right? A little bit less noise, but more than straight up 50-50 mixing. Yes, and we see that it's correct. We can also test that maybe just really quickly with different waveforms, and we'll also want different waveforms to test the inverted stuff. Maybe it's like noise is probably not the ideal thing for testing the inverted stuff. So maybe let's put the first one on triangle. And then let's put the second one on, let's leave the second one actually, or, oops, where's my, let's leave the second one on square and the first one on triangle. If we just do a straight up, let's call this invert, we're going to test the inverted stuff. Let's first do just a straight up mix so we have something to compare. Let's call it 1. All right, and then let's do mix inverted will be 2. Just really quickly, let's check. So let's see what the first one looks like. So this is, or where are we? Sorry, it's not the right one. So this is the first one. And if we now take the inverted, we should kind of be seeing this same shape, but opposite. Yes, it completely worked. Obviously the shape doesn't change here. We're just mixing the same shape through the waveform. So all we wanted to see that is indeed now inverting what it did. And it did it. So that's pretty amazing. And now let's check, maybe let's check the inverted 75-25 just for good measure. So it will look something like this one, but just a little bit of a different wave, but it will look like this one as far as the like the slope going down first. So let's see. So that's now the third, and yeah. Super cool. So all these modes that we tested so far work. We do have fade in out 2 and zigzag up down 2. Let's try fade. Let's try yeah, test FIO just for fade in out, just for, I don't know. So we have 1. So this one fades the second one in and then out. So we should kind of be starting with a triangle maybe and going a little bit towards the square, and in the middle it should kind of be a mix between a square and a triangle, right? And then fade out the square again should end up something like a triangle again. Did I save? Yeah, I did save. Okay, let's try it now. Wow. Oh, I'm sorry. We have our yeah, our envelope here. Let's turn it off. So triangle should end with a triangle. Yes. And in the middle it should be like a square try. Yes, it works. And we even know what the square try looks like from the previous one. We know that it kind of looks like this. So super cool. This mode works as well. And now let's try the zigzag. So remember it's like this one, but only on 25 percentile. So we should be sweeping and going like triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle. So let's do zigzag 1, create wavetable. And then zigzag 2 is the downwards one. So we should actually be starting with this kind of mixed wavetable on this one. So let's do zigzag 2, create wavetable. And where's our zigzag? So let's see. And we can see that it does that. So if I go now to 25%, it should be similar to what is on. There we go. So 25%, it faded it in. The 50% should be faded out. 25% and 75% should be also, yes, so 50%. And 75 should be like 25. Yeah, it's the same. So amazing, that worked as well. This is the opposite zigzag now. And yeah, it's also correct. We can see that it starts with the mixed shape and it goes correct. So all our, wow, I'm kind of impressed. Like we didn't even have to fight ChatGPT at all. Like it was one prompt. Also in the previous video, we gave it one prompt and it worked well. I actually want to quickly just even just save this version, back it up really quickly before we go back, just in case, because it's a good working version. All right, let's go back now and see about the other thing that I wanted to look at. So this worked, amazing. Maybe I'll think of some more modes. I'm super curious. One more thing we didn't check. It needed to add it to the randomization and all that. So let's just hit random and see that it, yeah, pretty cool. So it's going through the crossfade options as well and choosing a random one. Amazing. Let's reset everything. And now let's look at what the second thing I wanted to in this video, which is the batch creation. Now when we click to create random batch, it takes all these things that it can play with over here. Aside from the processors, I'm not happy with the processors yet. We'll do it in another video, so I'm not including it in the randomization. I keep them off, but everything else is randomized, and then you can create a wavetable from the randomization. But we also have the option to create a random batch. Now, if I now click on create a random batch, I have the option to select between 5, 10, 25, 50, or 100. Great. I click to create it, and notice like there's two behaviors here that I would like to enhance. So if I click OK now everyone, it tells me, yay, it's been created. Yay, it's been created. And okay, 5 is fine. But if I have 100, that's not so fine anymore. What if you want to do 1,000? And also, yeah, it's just not needed. It should just tell you once it finishes the whole thing that it's done. Maybe it should have some, like, I don't know, working or something like that. But let's do it step by step. And the second thing is now if you go now into our wavetable folder again, and let's go inside, you will see that it put all these random ones that I told it to create. It just put them here. And I think it would be nice that maybe it creates a subfolder with a timestamp or something. And this is exactly what we will be telling it to do. So we will be telling add an option to specify the folder name. We need to make sure like this is not about a path. This is a folder name, that it's a subfolder in the wavetable subfolder. If it does not exist, it can create it. We don't need to check about overriding or anything because the new waveforms, they have their own randomized names anyways. So you cannot really kind of override something. Anyways, if the folder name is oh, sorry, this should be is not specified, and I don't know, maybe, yeah, and left empty. I don't know if this is needed to add this, but okay. Create a, what do I created? Create a new subfolder in our wavetables folder named batch wavetables with a timestamp appended. So you can be sure that each time you create, again, it's like a completely separate folder. If you don't want to go through the tedious thing of just like renaming it, you need to curate it later anyway, whatever. The batch created wavetables will be placed there. And in addition, when batch creating, do not display the confirmation thing, right? Like only display after, just create them and then tell us, okay, look, I created them. So I think this is the way to go. Let's try it. We've had good luck today with ChatGPT. Let's see if the luck continues. So let's go and add that. Let's now enhance the batch, blah, blah, blah. And we just tell them to do that. And let's see what the behavior is like. So let's see. Good. It's editing. Hopefully it understood our request. Maybe while it's editing, I can quickly discuss the second thing I wanted to do with the batch creation. The thing is, right, we have our option where we select our frame sizes for the wavetable, and at the moment we're working with contact, and many other synths today are actually with this similar spec, where we're working with 2048 samples per cycle, and we have 100 cycles overall in our wavetable. So 100 cycles of 2048, but sometimes maybe the length is one thing, but the cycles the samples per cycle is important for different synths. Not every synth knows how to work with sizes that are essentially not made for it. So for example, I might be mistaken, but I think that Surge is 1012, for example. And I know some hardware synths, especially from the past, they were much smaller sizes. Some of the Waldorf stuff, I think, was like 64. Even the newer stuff is like 128, 256. Some Eurorack modules are 256, etc., etc. So it would be nice when batch creating to have like maybe some tick boxes that you can tick for each one of these. So maybe it batch creates all of these different window sizes at the same time. So anyways, that was good because I finished blabbing and it finished our code. And we can go back and let's paste it in and see if it did it correctly. All right, so we load our script again and let's go to our create random batch. That's weird, nothing changed. So let's say 10. Okay, enter folder name. All right, I mean, it would have been, well, maybe it's okay like this actually. Enter folder name because I can just do, okay, leave empty for default. It's still telling us one by one. Why is that? Oh no, and how many did I? It's lucky that I clicked for 10. Okay, so it half worked. Did it? Why are there 10 over here? Now I'm a little bit confused by what it did. Look, it put some stuff here and it didn't put them here. Okay, what's the best way? So I'm gonna delete these. You know what? I'm gonna delete everything so that it's like this. And then I'm gonna create them again. See, the problem arises because he's using these fields literally also for the creation, and it's probably, anyways, hang on, let's see, let's do it again. So let's do 10. Let's leave the empty for default. All right, now it's creating them, but it's putting them absolutely in the wrong place. Should have done 5, but okay. Maybe we can give him a screenshot. Okay. We have a bug that created, we have 2 bugs. We have 2 bugs. The created wavetables in the batch creation are not being placed in the created sub folder. Maybe we can do it like this, so it's more apparent that we're talking about 2 things. And then the second bug that we saw is that it's still giving us this really annoying thing, and we're really lucky we didn't test this by selecting 100, because we would now have to click 100 times 100 times on OK. So okay, after the pop-up for successful creation. Why am I fixing spelling mistakes here? I'm not touching it. For successful creation is still showing after every created wave table in the batch come on, operation. It should not and only show success after creating them all. Let's see. I mean, I'm a bit worried here because this is something that we did explicitly say we were okay with the first prompt. So maybe we now get into this ChatGPT bozo territory where it's like, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it does work. Because funnily enough, right, it does create the correct wavetable with the timestamp and everything. Maybe it fixes it. I don't know. So let's see. Actually, we didn't even look. Where did it even place it in the code? It's somewhere in the, yeah, there should be like a create random batch. The thing is, you see, then it's calling create wavetable. And create wavetable is calling that pop-up. So there should be some logic in create wavetable, like, are you being called from create random batch? Or I don't know, but here there's nothing. You see, it's just calling create wavetable in a loop. And whatever create wavetable does, it does, even though it's from the batch. And this is where the mistake is. So it probably didn't adjust here to say, hey, look, if you're being called from, this is so annoying also, the placement. If you're being called from the batch thing, you have to behave differently. So anyways, I'm curious now actually if it understands that that's what's wrong. And I guess the same thing here, both bugs. So the create, let's see the create wavetable. So generate the wavetable. This is a huge function here. IO to wave. Yeah, you see. I think it's still gonna be wrong now. I don't see that it, see it's still trying to put it in the wavetable subfolder. But let's see. Oh, whoa, it created an entire, okay, man. So he just did an entire new function. Oh, what did he do? And now we have like a bad ending for the code. Wow. Okay, this is, let's see if we can recover from this. You stopped mid-generation. The code is incomplete. So, okay, I don't know. I mean, I think he should not have created an entirely new function. This is a bit, should have probably added some logic to the original create wavetable function, done it a little bit differently. It seems my response was cut off. Continuing with the, okay, so at least it understood that. But yeah, I mean, this should have gone into the like, why have this thing twice? But okay, fine. Let's just see that if it does it correctly now. So what we want to see here is, yeah, basically that it's not, well, first we're going to see that it puts it in the right folder. Why does it now, it says it's edit, is he really editing at this point? Yeah, I got worried here, I have to be honest. The created wavetable in that, like when he didn't respond well to that, that spells trouble. And it's good that we saved from before. Is he even editing? I'm gonna give it a little bit more before I stop him, just in case. But this is definitely worrying. We don't see, if we click here, I don't think, like sometimes it would do this, and then suddenly you're like, okay, what are you doing? And then boom, it just does it. But all right. If it doesn't work now, we'll end the video in a bit because we did have this functionality in that we wanted. Okay, it seems the response was cut off again. Okay, whoa. Okay, he's back. He's starting from the beginning. It's okay for me if he does that, but let's just hope he doesn't get stuck again. And yeah, maybe let's also close our current version. It's a bit weird. Why did you do it in two function? You're just making life harder for yourself, chat. See, we have this one, and then it's exactly the same code in the other one. The only thing that would be different, like it's hundreds of lines of code that he's doing for nothing, because the only difference would be from here to the end, basically. Yeah. So just to tell it that the output folder also includes the information from the batch thing, like it's just another OS path join over here at the end. And then here, there should be no reply. So this Qt widgets message box file exists. Well, not the file exists, but just this whole messaging thing. Anyways, yeah, now he's doing another another whole pass at the thing. And this is, I think, what's actually kind of messing him up a little bit, because it's getting to be a lot of tokens, a lot of code for one prompt. And now yeah, it's just too much for him. No, you didn't complete it. No, you didn't complete it. You know what? Let's go back to the code state I pasted. So I'm gonna paste this new code, this code state, and we'll try something different to the code state I pasted. We're gonna tell him that I'm gonna try this. So we're gonna tell him in the create wavetable function, add logic to know if the function was initiated. It's almost like we're writing our own code, but okay, initiated with a batch, initiated as part of batch random wavetable creation, and then if true, place the wavetables in the correct subfolder, taking the batch operation subfolder into account, and also do not display a pop-up after each wavetable creation if in a batch process. I don't know. Let's see if this helps it. So we're telling it, look, do not create a whole other function. Just fucking play with this function. It's so maybe there will be added like some variable here, or some argument, sorry, that will basically just need to be true or false. So we want to get to line 256. We'll see if there's something different in the definition here. We'll already know. I mean, that's one way to do it. Let's see if it does it that way. No. Maybe it's going to call it from like in a different way. Unsure. So the second place where this could be happening is, well, all the way down here somewhere. So you would have this path logic different and this messaging logic from below this. The drama, it's almost getting there. Dun, 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 dun. And whoa, cool. So this did it. Okay, so yeah, you did self.batch creation mode. Self-batch folder. This is looking way better. And here, if not batch creation mode. Okay, yes, this is what it should have done. Amazing. We managed to understand and guide it. This is something to improve on as far as ChatGPT. It should have understood originally that this is the way. Luckily, I know enough to understand, at least I could have guided it. Let's save. And I have a good feeling now. This should now work. So let's do that. Let's go to our batch creation, create random batch. Let's say 10. Let's pick a folder and 10 wavetables, blah, 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 blah. Sounds good. No, we have some problem here. Let's look at the problem later. And yes, this is the ones from before, from 7, like this is okay. And the new ones are here. They're inside. We'll check the bug here in a second, but just let's see. Oh, I love this. This shape is cute, huh? Nice geometry. So yeah. So this is, this wave is a bit shitty, but, and I think I see the problem here, probably. It's starting on some 0 and invalid value encountered in cast. So one of our mix mode has some error probably. I wonder why we didn't catch it before when we were testing, like everything was working fine. We now saw this in the terminal, probably related to the mixing modes. But yeah, it's definitely getting there, right? Like super cool. Now if we do create batch while he's working, let's take the risk. Let's do 100. Let's see what happens. So yeah, now it's working. Okay, it's good. We had the mouse thing. So 100 doesn't take it that long, right? So even if it was 1,000, I'm going to add an option for 1,000, I think. Okay, I've made the requested changes. Probably we're saving without, no. See, that's when it's also getting annoying. We have the following bug. See screenshot. Like it didn't understand, like, and this is a new bug I've been noticing lately in ChatGPT where it does something correctly, we finish, and then you, at the same time, after you say, let's do something new, and it just says, oh yeah, I did what you asked me before. So it refers to like the previous thing. I don't get it. Like, okay, whatever. See screenshot. And now maybe we get in a loop where it says, yeah, but I did the requested batch creation, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, no, dude, we're on to a new topic now. Let's see. You see? You see? Let's move on. I don't know. Let's now fix this bug. See screenshot. Super annoying. Oh, look, it's still doing that. Let me know if you need further adjustments. I don't know how to now. Moving on to a new topic. A further let's do some bug fixing now. Okay, I don't know, like what the fuck, dude, why do you keep going there? This is for surely, it's not a bug in the AI model. I think it's a bug in the program. Okay, wow, cool. So maybe that took him out of that stupid brain fart loop, and we have the following bug. See screenshot. Probably related to the mixing modes. Let's see if now we get like back to communication levels here. It looks like it. So it seems that we're ready to move on. Wow, look at that. What if I hate it when it does that. This is really annoying. So we now get the following warning in console. I have one idea how to maybe force it to, like, I can probably take the code, copy, like, copy the whole thing back in and say this is the current code state, and oh, whoa, look, now it's finally. So maybe it's the screenshot that it suddenly didn't like. I'm not so sure. Like, it's for sure a bug in the ChatGPT application. Something gets borked at some point after it does a successful prompt. Anyways, I think we're out of that funk. And now let's see if it can understand the bug. Another thing I would like with the canvas, it's when you work normally with ChatGPT, there is some response here before it just goes on and edits. Like, I would like it that it says, okay, I understood your request. Like, yeah, we have this bug. It's related to this and that. I'll take a look, and then it can start editing. That would be a little bit nicer. Like before working with the canvas, it would actually work that way, where it would first tell you like, okay, yes, this is the problem. I'm going to try to identify and fix it. Because now it's like, okay, editing, okay. Takes it an hour, goes through your entire code, and only then it's like, oh yeah, I fixed it. So anyways. And it would also be nice if it's like somehow, yeah, it would mark, everything new would be marked somehow, like in a code review, you know, where like where you could see the changes. The diff, basically. I mean, there's options here. You could, but I'm just like real time. It would be nice. Okay, anyways, so we have the thing now. Let's paste it in. I'm actually not so sure if we can so easily recreate this bug because, well, we can probably if we do the random waves again, we can probably recreate it because it will go through a bunch of options and then create. Let's do create random batch. Let's be super brave and do 100. Let's see if, well, once we do that, another error pops in the console or not. So it's doing it. Okay, maybe it's good. I fixed the normalization logic to avoid dividing by 0, which is causing runtime warnings. Okay. I think, yeah, for sure it has to do with some of the new modes, like the zigzag and stuff like that, because we're mixing, crossfading, and normalizing the various cycles as we go. So as we added new modes, probably some math was not correct. And now, yeah, it's pretty cool. Every time we hit it, so this is actually the very old one that makes no sense, but all the other ones should have, and even 100. So we should have all of that. Amazing. So everything that we wanted to do in this video now actually works. So let's recap super quickly. We have now the new options in the mixing. I think these are super interesting. This opens up a lot of the ideas that I wanted to do, especially the zigzag stuff, because you could go through, you could go like one of them on noise and sign, and then the other one going through interesting shapes. I'm not talking about doing random. I'm talking about like being very deliberate about it and then using these options. I think I can create really, really cool wavetables. And then we have the create random batch, which now works much better. You know, it doesn't just put it randomly in the entire big folder. There's a dedicated folder with a timestamp, and it doesn't prompt you to click OK with everyone in the batch that was created. Actually, let's add one final thing here. And let's do, so we have 5, 10, 25, 50, 100. Let's add 500 and 1000. So in the batch creation, pop up, add more options in the menu so that 500 and 1000 tables. Why am I wait, like it would understand if I just wrote tables. I don't know why I'm being pedantic. You can also write with as many spelling mistakes. Like you don't need to fix spelling mistakes. Like why am I doing that sometimes? All right, so that 500 and 500 can be selected for creation. So let's just quickly do that, and yeah, then we'll have 500 and 1000 as well in the batch creator. And then I still have the processors amounts. Like, so right now, let's just see that it's doing stuff. I've updated, yeah, this should have been really simple. I'm happy to see, like, if it really did it now, it did it. So sometimes it goes through the entire code for one small thing like this, and this time it didn't do it. I'm super curious, like, what's the logic here? You know, why does it sometimes say, like, I understand it if there's big changes, but sometimes even something like this. So basically it was just adding more sizes here. It needs to go through the whole code. Anyways, yeah, quirks. Let's see that it did it. So really quickly testing it. We go inside, and now if we click create random batch, we should also see an option to do, no, we don't. So 5, 10, 25, 51. Oh, did I take the code? Did I? I'm sorry, maybe, I don't remember, I don't know. Maybe I didn't take the code. Did I or didn't I? Okay, this is, yeah, I didn't, okay. Now it's on me. And we go in, and now we should have, yeah, all right, so we have 501,000. Just for the curiosity of it, let's see how long it takes to create 1,000, because if it starts to be like really long, well, we will have the spinning mouse wheel, so maybe it's fine. I was thinking maybe there should be a pop-up like working or something, but let's see. Cool, so we have this. Yeah, it's a little bit, yeah, then, okay, you know what, it's fine. It's fine. So it's spinning, and I think it shouldn't take it more than like 3, 2, 1. It's a bit long. 100 didn't take it that long. Nothing is happening here, so maybe it is creating them. Yeah, it is creating them. Cool. So we have 1,000 wavetables. It wasn't that long, was it? And it should be the latest one over here. And yeah, we have 1,000 wavetables. That is pretty crazy. Obviously, with our randomizer here, it's randomizing, but without any, let's call it, there's no tact here, right? It's just completely randomizing the whole thing. And it doesn't mean that they won't sound good, but there's no, let's say, method to the madness, right? Just saying, because we did create some algorithmically created wavetables where we create a batch of 1,000, but based on something that I was setting up in a different script. Something that I was setting up and then just slightly modifying things and then running on 1,000. Here it's just completely 1,000 random stuff. Just saying. All right, the last thing, and this we will do in the next video, is take care of these processors. You saw that I'm not using them because right now what happens is if I now select one of these, so I select slew or clip, or yeah, clip is maybe a good example. It will just apply the clip with 100%. Same for all the rest of them. And that's not what we want, right? We want to be able to say, okay, apply it 50%, or even more than that, actually. What we want to be able is to control maybe like an envelope for the processor. So maybe a full-on envelope is a little bit overkill, but maybe we want some like, some options like the fade. I don't know, I have to think about this a little more, but we definitely want some options that let us control the intensity of these effects processors that are being applied to the waves. Otherwise, it's just a messy, ugly mess. So let's end this one right here. Well, I don't know, do you want to hear some wavetables? We just created a lot of random shit. How about we just, let's create something with our new zigzag, just for one example. So let's do everything on, and remember we're zigzagging the second one. So the first one can be kind of, I don't know, maybe creative. So let's do sine, triangle, sawtooth, triangle, sine. And then let's just for the example here, let's zigzag some noise. And let's put the middle on like shark fin just for fun. And let's see what happens when we do that. So let's do zigzag. Should we do zigzag? Let's do zigzag up. So the first one, so the very first cycle is kind of clean. It's just the first waveform. Wave zigzag 1. Create the table. And let's go now back to, and actually let's just also see that we no longer see this kind kind of bug with the initial one. It fixed this before. Remember, we had that normalization issue, so this should no longer be happening, but we're going to keep an eye out. So this is the zigzag one that we just created. This has a pretty nice flow. What if we now go here and maybe add some modulation to it? Absolutely beautiful. Mixing it with a bit of organic sound maybe, and I really like those. With the effects, with the polyphonic aftertouch, and with the sample mixed in, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, sorry, I'm not being objective. This is our synth, Porphyra Hybrid. It's on offer at the moment of this video's taping. And yeah, let's end this right here, and I'll make another video very soon where we touch upon the last things that we wanted to do, the processor stuff. And the batch creation with different sizes. So we have 2 more things. Maybe we'll do them in one video. Maybe we'll do them in 2 videos. Thanks for watching. I had an amazing time exploring this. I hope you got something from this video. Remember also to check out both our wavetable pack and our new flagship synthesizer, Porphyra Hybrid. See you later.